From the creators of Relevant Magazine, this is the Relevant Podcast.
Today is Tuesday, September 24th, 2019. My name is Jesse Carey, and you are listening to the Relevant Podcast. Here with me today is our senior editor, Tyler Huckabee, actually all the way from Paris, France. Tyler, how's it going, man?
Hey, Jesse.
And on the ones and twos, the illustrious one himself, as always, Chandler Strang. Chandler, how's it going, man?
It's going pretty well.
All right. Well, hey, listen, we have a unique and special show for you coming up. But first, I want to tell you that today's show is brought to you by BetterHelp. Is there something that interferes with your happiness or is preventing you from achieving your goals? Well, BetterHelp Online Counseling is there for you. You can connect with a professional counselor in a safe, private, online environment. And the great thing, it's super convenient. You don't have to, drive across town to an office. You can do it right over the internet. You can get your help on your own time and at your own space. You can schedule secure video and phone sessions, plus chat and text with your therapist. That is a really cool service, especially for anyone who has, done counseling and therapy. You know that, sometimes it's involves like taking time off work and figuring out how you can get over there. So this is a really convenient solution for that. Licensed professional counselors at BetterHelp are specialize in issues like depression, anger, stress, anxiety, relationship issues, trauma, sleeping, and everything you share is obviously confidential. There are 4 different communication modes. Like I said, you can text, chat, phone, or video, and you can start communicating in less than 24 hours. It's available on desktop, mobile, everything you expect. And also, the cool thing is, along with being secure, convenient, and professional, financial aid is even available to those who qualify. Best of all, there's a truly affordable option for Relevant Podcast listeners for BetterHelp. You get 10% off your first month with discount code RELEVANT. So why not get started today? Go to betterhelp.com/relevant. Simply fill out the questionnaire and help them assess your needs and get matched with the counselor you'll love. That's betterhelp.com/relevant. All right. Well, we have a really great show coming up for you. Later on, we have the band Joseph. Man, I really love Joseph. They are in the new issue of Relevant, issue 101, that is out now. So excited to talk to them, hear some of their tunes. But first off, Tyler and I, want to address why the show is a little bit different today. Usually there's 4 of us around the table. Usually our publisher, Cameron Strang, joins us, and we have another guest host. But today we want to do something a little bit different. And address something that you may or may not have seen us talk about on Twitter or seen some news stories about. Cameron has stepped away from his position for a time. And, basically to provide some context if people aren't familiar with this story, last week, some former employees of Relevant, some of Tyler and I's former colleagues, started sharing stories on Twitter about some negative experiences they had while they were at Relevant in the workplace. And a lot of them, came down to Cameron's leadership. Andre Henry, our former managing editor, who, was on this podcast many times, outlined an episode that particularly demonstrated some racial insensitivity and brought up a lot of issues that he had with the work environment here. When it came to particularly, like I said, Cameron's leadership style. And he felt like, and a lot of the other employees who have kind of spoken out in recent days, that these are things that need to be addressed and that people need to be treated fairly in the workplace, and that Relevant's internal environment needs to reflect what we hope are the editorial values that we show on our front end. We care about racial justice. We care about talking about things the right way and challenging the church to do better addressing things. And, with all of these, comments that we saw, we decided to take it seriously. And, we met as a team on Monday morning. Another employee, Rebecca Marie Joe, had posted a blog post outlining some of her experiences on Friday afternoon. So we took the weekend to think about what are some proper next steps that we can take and how can we hopefully address this the right way and take these concerns seriously and be humble, be teachable, and be apologetic. And that's, we obviously feel really badly. And we are very sorry to those employees that had a negative experience, but we want to do the right thing moving forward. And, if you're listening to this podcast, you're a part of, our community, this extended kind of relevant family. We feel the need to be transparent and accountable. And so, Cameron is stepping away for a while. He is going to get counseling. We are working on, counseling and therapy options. And then we want to listen. We want to talk to leaders in the African-American community in a diverse range that have a diverse range of expertise that can, offer their insights. We want to do sensitivity training issues. We want to hear. We want to listen. We want to learn. And so we're putting all those steps in place right now. The process, our goal is for it to be not just an extended process and not just one that is going to be a part of our brand moving forward, but also one that is transparent. And as we, right now we're kind of putting a lot of those things in place. And as we kind of lock stuff in, we want to be transparent about how it's going. Who are the voices, who are the leaders that are speaking into Cameron and speaking into Relevant. And we want to keep you guys updated on it. We're kind of a couple days into this thing, but obviously we're doing our best to take it as seriously as possible. And like I said, to be humble and teachable and accountable. We need accountability. Tyler, is there anything you wanted to add?
I think, I think there's a few things worth pointing out. One thing that I do want to say is when we address this as a leadership team to Cameron on Monday, I can say that I found him very receptive to the things that we as a team felt that we needed to say to him, and that he was not he understood the severity of what these stories are and what people are saying. So I don't want to make it sound like that this was not something that we had to force upon him. He was very open to this. To the decisions that we've made here. I also want to say, and I can only speak for myself here, and I have done this already. I did this on social media, but I want to personally apologize. Reading some of these stories, particularly Andre's, who I did work with for a long time and who I count as a friend and somebody who I love, and I sincerely mean that. And I've spoken to, I apologize to him personally because I think that I could have done a better job in standing up for him and for his mission of anti-oppression within the workplace, of Black liberation in our country. I feel badly that I didn't do more. I wish that I had. I can't change that, but I hope that, and I'm sorry that he had to tell the story to make me realize what should have been done differently. I don't want to require other people, the emotional and spiritual toil of other people to be required for me to grow as a person. But in this case, that's what happened. So I think the best way that I personally can honor his story is by trying to be better myself. And that's my pledge to him. That's my pledge to the community of Relevant, to the listeners, people listening to this, people who read the mag and the website, and the people that we bring on this podcast and bring into the magazine, other voices. I want to be worthy of your attention and of your time. And so these stories have helped show me some better ways to do that. And it's not going to be an easy process. This is going to take a long time. We don't know all the details of what this is going to look like. We will tell you what they are as we make those decisions. But the best thing I can say for sure right now is that I am sorry. I do apologize. We won't speak for Cameron any more than what he's already posted personally, which you can find on our website and on his Instagram account, where I believe he also posted it. But I can speak for myself and say that's how I'm feeling. So thank you to everybody who has shared their stories. In addition to Andre and Rebecca, I know that former colleagues, like I'm thinking of Ryan. I saw some stuff from Kathy, at least lots of stuff on social media, and all these stories are valuable and they mean a lot. And I know people wouldn't be sharing them if they weren't important. So they're important to us too.
And I echo that. And yeah, definitely for people that are interested in Cameron's perspective, check out his Instagram account or relevantmagazine.com, where you can see his full statement and his apology. And I apologize to all my former colleagues too. Like, I'm sure there were many, many times I could have done more to make their experience better. I've talked to Andre, I've had the opportunity to talk to him several times. And I think his mission of, creating an anti-racist world is very important. And I think we can all, internally do a lot better. And that's what we're out to do. And, to our listeners and to our friends, we want accountability. And I know there's going to be times, I want to reiterate too, neither Tyler and I are like reading a script right now. Like, if this sounds bad, it's
because this is complicated and we're having a tough time expressing these things.
Yeah, but I wanted, like, we've talked a lot about what we should do this morning. How do we want to address this? And it's tempting to, read a script that, we're able to take the time and like really choose the words carefully so they're a really clear reflection of our intentions. But I want to also speak from the heart, like there are going to be times when I don't say the right things, when Tyler doesn't say the right things, but, or Cameron doesn't say the right things, but we want to be teachable and accountable. And we want to own mistakes of the past and hopefully be better in the future. I'm really optimistic about Relevant, about our team, and, about hopefully the steps we're taking to be better in the future. Some of the, we're putting together behind the scenes, like these voices that we really want to have speak into the process and help us tackle the issues that we care about, but also, in a meaningful way, but also reflect those values institutionally. And so, that's what our plan is moving forward. Like I said, it's going to be a transparent process. So as we kind of have more plans kind of forming, especially as it pertains to the listening aspect, we want to hear, we want to learn. We'll definitely keep everyone, up to date on those. And like I said, we appreciate everyone who's downloading this and listening. We appreciate all our friends and colleagues and even our critics, ones that, want to make us better. Iron sharpens iron. And sometimes that process, that metaphor, I think is so apropos in a lot of ways, because when iron slaps iron, it's loud and it's hard, But that's how we get better, and we want to get better. And we appreciate our friends, we appreciate our former colleagues, and we want to be better. And we appreciate our listeners. And for you guys, downloading this, hopefully sticking with us and giving us the opportunity to show what change can look like. And so, like I said, we're hopeful, we're optimistic, and Tyler, did you have anything else you want to add?
No, I don't think so. We want to get this right. And we've got a long ways to go, and it'll be hard. But we plan on doing everything we can to be an example of how to handle a situation like this. Lord knows we've tried to hold other institutions to the fire when they've gotten something wrong, and both in their response, both in what they did and their response to it. And now it's our turn, and we want to make sure that we're doing the things that we have asked for of other places as well. And we will need the help of our community to do that. So we are listening and we are going to. Yesterday we made some tough decisions, and I think really the hard work has only just begun. We've got a lot of stuff that it's going to take a while. It's going to take some tough choices, but we're prepared to make those, and we'll let you know what they are as we finalize them.
Yeah. And it's also, hey, if I can ask one more thing, I know this is usually the top of the show. This is where we joke around about what we did over the weekend, and all of our weekends were honestly, dedicated to, addressing this the right way, hopefully addressing this the right way. But if I can ask one other thing, like if for our listeners, for even critics that are listening, like I totally get that. The only thing I would ask is if you could take time, pray for us, pray for Cameron, pray for me and Tyler and the whole team here, and pray for, Andre, Rebecca, and everyone who's spoken out. Like we, we're Christians at the same day. We're all part of, hopefully, the same big family, a part of the same big church. We want to make things right, but we do also, like I said, want to listen be humble, be teachable, and we want your prayers and support. So anyway, it's kind of a different note to start the show on, but we still have some great things coming up. Tyler, before I transition, do you have anything else you want to add?
No. Thanks for everybody for sticking with us. I know this is strange. These are uncomfortable times, and I appreciate you bearing with our very imperfect attempts to address this. And I hope you continue to bear with our imperfect attempts to talk about this more in the future.
So anyway, that being said, we will continue to keep you guys updated. We'll be back in a normal pace on the Thursday show. Like I said, Cameron's gonna be away for a while, but we'll have kind of the same round table type of style. But today, a different kind of show. It's just gonna be you out there, me and Tyler and Chandler in a glass producer booth that is slowly filling with water, and the valve is too open and he is already chest deep, and I want to keep this show moving along. So next up, Slices.
I hope they let me surrender. Maybe they'll take me instead. Oh, there's something that I need to tell you, but I'm afraid to talk to you again.
You're listening to Chris Farron. The song is "Surrender." At the beginning of the show, you heard Ceremony with the song "Turn Away the Bad Thing." Turn Away the Bad Thing. It sounds like a European horror movie. Like, keep the right one in.
Like one of those, where there's like a loose translation of something. Like, that probably means something good in Ukrainian, but here it just sounds.
Turn away the bad. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like this acclaimed Swedish horror movie. Yeah. Let the right one in. There lies the evil one. It
came out like 2 years ago, and it's like finally getting the American release, and it stars like Hugo Svorgoslav. It's more like an old folk vampire tale. That's pretty good. I just don't understand the title at all.
By an ageless child vampire werewolf hybrid, where nothing happens in the movie for the first solid hour. It's just them walking around weird looking European locations.
I really liked I really liked that movie. Let the Right One In. I think it's a really good movie. But do you remember what because then they remade it. It came out in the States with subtitles, and they remade it, but in English. Do you remember what the new title was?
No.
So they gave it an American title, and it's just, and I don't know why, but it always struck me as supremely stupid. I didn't hate the remake. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it, but it was called Let Me In, which kind of just sounds like a kid's movie. Like, let me in. Like, it doesn't strike fear into the Let the Right One In has a little bit of like a not like, oh, who's the right one? Like, I get it. It's a little ominous. It probably isn't a great translation, but at least it sounds just a little bit off-putting. Let me in just sounds like what you shout when the doorbell's broken. Or you forgot your key outside, and the dogs.
Yeah, or the bus is slowly closing the door and you missed it by just a hair when you were a kid and you're like pounding on a bus driver, let me in. Yeah, I agree.
Or when Chandler's water tank gets a little too full in there and he's like trying to get into the actual podcast. Let me in.
By the way, I have lowered a hose and snorkel in. He will be broadcasting underwater from here on out. And just keep an eye on that. All right, Tyler, it is time. It is time for Slices. What do you have for us today, man?
All right. So we don't usually. It's been a while since we've done celebrity news roundup here at Relevant.
Yeah.
And I'm not bringing it back here today. Don't get excited. Today's not the day. But I did want to bring a little bit of casting news because I thought that this is right up my personal beat. So I hope that people will be patient with me. But I'm interested against all odds in the next Batman movie, and even avowed comic book fan, I'm getting a little bit Batmaned out at this point, but I'm a big fan of Matt Reeves. Matt Reeves was the director of the Planet of the Apes trilogy, the most recent one, which I thought was really, really good.
Oh, yeah.
Brought in to write and direct this new Batman movie. And I think, as we all know, Robert Pattinson has been cast as Batman. I know it's a little bit divisive, but I think it's a really bold choice. It just intrigues me. Like, what kind of Batman movie do you make with Robert Pattinson? So so right there, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go once more into the breach, go back to Gotham, see what this is like. And so now I'm bringing a new late breaking possible casting update to this movie that I wanted to discuss a little bit, and that is that they think they have found our villain, our bad guy for this. It's going to be either or possibly both the Riddler and Penguin. The Riddler, obviously famously played by Jim Carrey in Batman Forever. Penguin, last time he was in a live action movie was Danny DeVito in Batman Returns, and it's going to be played by Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill and Robert Pattinson
of Superbad. I mean, Jonah Hill is very famous now for a lot of reasons. I still think of him as Superbad. But this is just another like kind of intriguing casting choice for me that's taking this movie in kind of an interesting direction. I think Jonah Hill has navigated the jump from comedy to more serious kind of arty dramas really, really well with like Wolf of Wall Street. And I like that Netflix series Maniac with him in it quite a bit. So it's just another it's another reason for me to get more interested in this movie than I probably would be otherwise.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I like Jonah Hill, like I feel like he's underrated at like really getting into character for a guy who's got like such a big personality, right? And like you generally like a lot of times those type of actors and comedians are like the people who are a version of themselves in every character instead of like getting into the character. But, like I remember he was really great in like Moneyball, and he's also really good at playing people that are like considerably old. Like he's played like high schoolers, or at least someone posing to be a high schooler in two different movies.
21 and 22 Jump Street.
Yeah, and Superbad. He was like in his mid-20s. Oh, yeah,
that's true. That's true. Yeah, he was a very believable high school person in a way that they're not always believably high school person. I don't know if you could like. Do you think that does it throw you off a little bit when you see somebody who's like obviously not a high schooler portraying a high schooler in one of those movies, or especially it happens a lot in TV shows?
It's weird, but you always put yourself in that scenario. Like
do you think it's possible for an adult to pass themselves off as a child and keep a jig going like that?
I'll say this. I've always dreamed of going back as like a 21 Jump Street situation as a full grown adult, going, and mainly because I want to see if I could hold my own on the basketball court because here's the I don't know how many people play basketball out there.
I know you consider yourself a pretty good basketball player.
I mean, it's certainly inflated.
You consider
it's certainly inflated. Okay. I tell my friends that. But here's the thing about, I don't know if anyone played driveway basketball growing up. Here's the thing with it is that when you reach a certain point in age, right? You develop a type of strength that isn't due to working out. It isn't due to even body weight, or what I've even learned is any manner of mature physical strength. All it is pride and anger that you're not young anymore, like the people you're playing with. Like if you've ever played your uncle in driveway basketball,
I see what you're saying.
It is going to be the most violent game of basketball you've ever played because the uncle knows he's outmatched physically. His nephews who are in high school or maybe even college are quicker and faster. So you develop a series of old man moves. Those moves involve far too violent box outs, and you start boxing out before the ball's even in the air. Like uncles will just start boxing out at any moment. Like the game could be at a standstill, everyone drinking Gatorade, and an uncle just comes flying at you with his hips, his pointy hips, and boxing you out for no reason.
Because you're saying at this point, he's not just trying to beat you. He has to prove something to himself.
Exactly. This has nothing to do with you. You're the one who caught a sweaty forearm to the chin. But this is more about him. It's not about you. Like, that's the move. Like, when you jump up for the ball and he has a fistful of your t-shirt in his backhand and your back violently arches up and he grabs the ball out of the sky and just looks at you and laughs. That's about him. It feels like it's about you. It feels like it's about you because now you have a cloth burn on your shoulder and is trained back, but he got the rebound. And trust me, he needed that rebound way more than you did.
I think that, but do you think you could keep up even if you could do basketball, do you think if you you shave, you get to, you go get some new clothes from down at Forever 21 or H&M or something like that. Do you think you could passably play yourself off as a high schooler for, let's say, a never been kissed situation for like a semester?
I have an inflated sense of self-confidence in a lot of my abilities, so I'd want to say yeah, because like 20. Okay, let's talk about 21 Jump Street.
But you can't have a confidence because when you're in high school, you have to have a little bit of like passably insecure.
No, I would be like Channing Tatum in the reboot. Like I wouldn't be like Johnny Depp, who, by the way, Johnny Depp, clearly a grown man. Like he did nothing to disguise that he's like in his mid-20s at the time 21 Jump Street is filming. They just didn't think it's weird. That was at a time when it was just common practice on TV and film to have fully grown adults portraying high school kids and never address the facts that everyone at these high schools that were usually in and around Beverly Hills or Southern California were all in their mid-20s and for some reason were juniors in high school. Like, I remember as a kid, I'm not buying this. Like, why did they just set it at like a vocational school where it would be normal to have people in their mid-20s? Like, I feel like it would be difficult, but
they did the same thing. The most recent like high school drama I got caught up in, it's been a while, obviously. But the most recent one I got really caught up in was Friday Night Lights, where they would be playing high school students on the show, and then they'd go off and do their film roles, and they'd be like in the military or lawyers or or politicians, and they looked the exact same. And I was homeschooled, so I didn't have a whole lot of basis for what high school is like. But people in public school, high school, live very different lives than not only different lives, but they have just whole different like physiological. They age differently than my friends do because we were a bunch of pimple faced, like awkward, gangly. I'm still like trying to get voice cracking all over the place. And these people they're supermodels.
Yeah. I have as you guys probably know, like a 6-year-old, and he's super into monster trucks right now. And so I was on Hulu or one of the streaming services. There's a movie that only came out like 2 years ago called Monster Truck. Right. And the plot
I'm very familiar with this. There's like real monsters, right?
The plot of this movie is there are real, and it has like an interesting kind of environmentalism message, but there are real monsters that live like, like half a mile down, and like an evil oil baron. It might have been Rob Lowe, if I'm remembering correctly, is extracting them, but in doing so, they've let loose these monsters who live under the surface of the earth. Anyway, one of those monsters coming to live in the truck of like this kid who's like a junior in high school, and they take on the mean bullies and the oil company. Right? Okay, so that's the plot of the movie.
Okay,
I mean, you're suspending a lot of disbelief on a lot of angles. Okay,
yeah, sure.
But even my son, who's like 5, was like, okay, that guy who's playing the lead is like 30. Like they didn't even pick someone who's like 20. Like someone like, the guy's probably not in high school. They picked someone who literally is probably in his 30s at the time. Like they didn't even attempt to make him look 16. Like he might have been legitimately double the character's age. And so, yeah, I think if Hollywood gets away with it, I feel like I could too.
So you're just hoping that the people in your 21 Jump Street situation have been so conditioned by Hollyweird about what a high schooler looks like that they would flatter themselves into thinking, oh, he looks like us, like a normal high school student based off of their experiences watching.
I think Hollywood has conditioned them enough. If I walk through the door and I'm wearing a Justin Bieber Believe tour. I'm wearing they would either think I'm the new cool kid in town, or obviously there's a vampire at the school. Like, because that's the other thing. Vampires who are like 500 years old, they go to high school, no problem. Like I've seen it in a bunch of movies. So I don't think I have a problem. All right.
That's true. All right.
I have a 2 for us, Tyler.
All right, let's hear it.
Okay. Nicolas Cage has been sighted in and around the Portland area. Do you have any ideas why he's in Portland?
I mean, that's a big question. I feel like both, whatever the answer is, it's both going to be very surprising and very obvious at the same time.
Okay, so he's in the Pacific Northwest. I'll tell you this: he is filming a new movie, Chandler.
Sure.
I want to throw something out there and have you blindly guess. Okay. And here's what I want you to try to determine. It's a Nicolas Cage film that is being filmed in and around Portland, and the title of this film is Pig. Knowing only those facts, Nicolas Cage, the location in the title, I want you to take one wild guess as to what the plot is.
I'm assuming he's a farmer of some sort. Do you know what type of genre it is?
It is no. This seems like like reading the plot summary, which is all I know. It seems literally that the plot of this film could fit any genre.
I'm assuming it has something to do with being vegan or against eating meat.
I like that.
I mean, it's not even close. So I will tell you about the new film Pig.
Not even close.
And I will read the exact description as described by Variety. Pig tells the story of a solitary Oregon truffle hunter, played by Cage, who loses his pig while foraging in the woods and must journey to Portland and his long-abandoned past to recover her. Here's the log line provided by the studio. When his beloved foraging pig is kidnapped, he must return into Portland and his long-abandoned past to recover her. Okay.
All right. I'm all caught up. So one, what genre is this film? I mean, honestly, it could be a comedy.
Thriller.
It could be a funny comedy.
Yeah.
It could be like Dunstan Checks In. What's the one? Wasn't Jason Alexander in a movie when we were kids where he had like a monkey that got loose and the monkey had all these funny things? Am I inflating that? I feel like there's a Jason Alexander monkey movie.
I don't remember a monkey movie, but but Dunstan Checks In. I don't think Jason Alexander was in that, but there's some sort of like lost monkey on the loose situation there. Same with like Mighty Joe Young. I think Charlize Theron was like trying to get a gorilla back or something like that. Yeah. So this is but that I feel like if it's Nicolas Cage, we're not looking at a family friendly. I feel like this is going to be more of like a deep, dark, like swan dive into the dark heart of a man who's got a lot to lose, and the pig is the one thing that's kept him sane, his beloved pig, like kind of a John Wick situation, right?
Yeah.
Actually, John Wick lost a dog. This guy, as far as we know, the pig isn't dead, but it brings up a lot of, he's on a murderous mission of revenge.
I almost feel like, it could be that. And it could be like a weird, drama for all I know. It could be a horror film. The twist could be that the pig is some sort of let the right one in type of monster, like a
vamp pig.
Yeah. If the movie had the same plot and was called Turn Away the Bad Thing, I would be way more interested than that.
I'm pretty interested. I want to know. I'm always down to see whatever Nicolas Cage is cooking. It's going to be weird, and I'm interested in watching it. So it's called Pig.
It's called Pig, but I almost feel like
it's going to be dark. I think it's going to be dark.
I have a theory that there was a Mad Lib, right? There was a Mad Lib situation, and there was a giant bowl of like nouns for like thing, place. A verb. And so when his beloved blank is blanked, he must journey into blank and his long abandoned past to blank. And they were literally just reaching. They're like, guys, I got bad news. When his beloved, I got foraging pig. Okay,
the rules are clear. We said we would make whatever the movie is. And we can't turn back now.
They're like, oh gosh. Okay, when his beloved foraging pig is, come on, please, kidnapped. Okay, now we're talking. Now we're talking. He must journey into Portland. Okay, we'll do Portland. And as long as band is best to blank her recover. Oh, thank God. Okay, we have a film here. So it's called it is called Pig. It is not his journey into his long abandoned past to sing to her, to eat her, but to recover her. And it's called Pig, and it will be.
I do have a question. A question about the maybe you know the answer to this, Jesse. I don't know if you were raised on a farm. Foraging pig?
Okay, I do know about this actually, because this isn't Chandler's wrong, and it's farming. Okay, it's a foraging pig.
He's looking for truffles. Is that what it is?
So truffles, here's my understanding. I'm not an expert in truffle hunting, but I weirdly watched a lecture on it one time. And the reason, because I was curious, like, why the heck are truffles so expensive? Like, I don't know if anyone saw the thing going around about how cashews grow the other day on Twitter. It was trending because you ever try to buy like a little cup of pistachio cashews like from the grocery store? It's like $9, and you're like, well, the peanuts are like $3. What's the deal here? It's because cashews are actually like the stem of a fruit that actually looks like a weird looking apple, and you have to like break them off, and that's the nut. It's like the stem of this apple-like thing. So, so that's why they're super expensive. So one day I was like curious as to why truffles are so expensive, and I'm going to butcher this. There's going to be some truffle hunter listener listening to this and be really upset with me. But from my understanding, truffles are like a mushroom, like a fungus, but they actually grow like a couple inches below the surface of the ground. So they're incredibly difficult to find because you can't see them.
Which is why they're so expensive, right? Truffles always take a lot. Yeah.
And so what you have to do is you have to get like an animal with a really heightened sense of smell, like a dog or a specially trained dog or a foraging pig. And they go out and like in the woods, and they go sniff out where underground these truffles are buried. And they're super hard to find. And if you don't have like a trained animal, you're not going to find any truffles. But then you dig your hand in there, you dust it off, put it in your truffle bag, and away you go to sell them to, some fancy smancy restaurant. But they're super hard. So if you lost if you're a truffle hunter and you're foraging kid, someone kidnapped it. It's not like you ran away. Someone kidnapped the foraging pig. I think you actually do have a pretty compelling plot of the movie because Nicolas Cage is essentially out of work once this pig gets kidnapped. So,
okay. So this is not, it is a beloved pig, but it's also presumably his livelihood. So his life is on the line.
Hey, I know what you know. So Chandler, I'm sorry, you're way off. All right. Next item. I have a twofer as always. Next item, the Museum of the Bible this week. Okay. So, the museum, I haven't been to the Museum of the Bible yet. I've heard it's incredible.
People seem to like it. Yeah. I hear good things.
Real talk, I've heard, if you are a fan of the Bible or even just history, like I think a lot of it's pretty fair-minded. It's not like a creation museum situation where there's a dinosaur with a saddle on it that you can jump on and take pictures on, Not
that there's anything wrong with the creation.
Not that there's any, I'm just saying I think it takes its overall tone is a little differently, which I will say, I made light of the dinosaur with the saddle, and I got an email from Answers in Genesis that were upset that I made light of it. So I will specify what they told me is that dinosaur with the saddle on it was not an actual exhibit, which is a fun place to take a photo op. And look, I've been to what's it called? The Creation Museum a number of times. I don't necessarily agree with all their theological interpretations, but I love planetariums, and they have one sweet planetarium in there. Planetariums are like when the planetarium day at school was the second best day aside, right behind field day. There's nothing like going into that cold room and just taking a nap for a while. That's why I love it. Why some old boring guy just drones on about the universe for like an hour. You're like, oh, this is like a sleep app here. Like this works better than white noise. Guys, this guy's talking about how long it would take to fly to Uranus here. And I'm just dozing, like drone on, guy. I've had a long day at school, and it's very cool in this planetarium. It's very dark, and the music is very like sonic and soothing. Chandler, did you go to planetariums much?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone did if they went to like public school.
Not my experience, unfortunately.
Were you homeschooled?
I was homeschooled, okay, so we just went outside.
Yeah.
Planetarium day at Tyler's house was his parents went in the closet and put those little green glow in the dark stars in the closet. And they're like, go lay in there for an hour.
There's stars or planets. I don't know.
Whatever. You'll figure it out. You'll figure it out. Who knows how they got there 5,000 years ago? Who knows? Just go stare out there and listen. We'll tell you when you can come out of the closet. But in the meantime, I need you to just lay there.
Well, that one's the moon. And the next one with the
Oh,
rings
man.
around it is probably Saturn, and then there's some more, and then there are stars. So that's
Anyway.
pretty much all we've learned so far.
Anyway, yeah, can't believe all that got done in 5,000 years. When the sun was placed in its orbit 1,200 years ago today. All right, so the Museum of all I say is the Museum of the Bible is different than
It's
the
not one of
creation. To my knowledge, they don't have a planetarium, but everything I've heard about it is how like legitimately cool it is, no matter what your faith inclinations are. And they've done a really good job on cost. From my understanding, they spared no expense with it. And if you're in DC, it definitely looks like something to check out. But this week they hosted a luncheon and fashion show. It was a fundraiser featuring biblically inspired couture and designs. It was like a fashion of the Bible type of show, or it was a biblical fashion show, I think is how their press release framed it. So when I read biblical fashion show, I'm thinking we're going to have models come out. And like, I'm finally, because I got a picture in my mind of Joseph's coat of many colors, or like what the fruit of the Spirit would look like on a real spiritual warrior, and we've all seen the Bible
like
movies.
The armor of God, the helmet of salvation. Yeah, exactly. That's my thought too.
We've all seen the same Bible movies where everyone's basically wearing a variation of the same thing. And maybe that's what it's like. But the Museum of the Bible is like next level. And so I was picturing like, I'm going to legit see what these guys and girls and, these Bible characters that I know are going to be wearing. I was curious how they're going to handle the Adam and Eve situation because especially start from the beginning.
It's a family friendly situation.
Yeah, because,
I assume.
But as you get deeper into the Bible, things get boring for a while. I'd imagine like culture went through the same. But when we get to Revelation, I'm talking, well, how's this dragon with 7 heads, coming out, and what's the thunder in his footsteps and lightning in his step? Like, how are we going to see this? Now I'm talking here. A flaming
Death
sword
on a white horse. I'm excited.
So it starts off. It starts off a little mature with the
a little
garden.
risque for the kids, but accurate.
It's
but
a
true.
small part of the story, and then and then it moves on. But then I learned that the fashion show here's what the Bible couture collection is. The fashion show featured pieces from the Museums of the Bible's couture collection, including items from Versace, Jean Paul Gaultier, Dolce and Gabbana. In addition to donated and purchased items, it also had style Bible author and established DC fashion expert Laura Rothman styling the show. The permanent exhibit focused on the Bible's impact on fashion is located on in the museum, and it looks at the Bible's impact on the world. But these are like legit gowns from like fancy designers. I probably butchered the pronunciation of some of their names, but
so it's like Bible themed stuff, not so much like
from what I saw,
biblical wear.
From what I saw, like the gowns and stuff took some very loose interpretation of what the Bible's impact would be. It's like, well, this one, it's a little,
like what?
It's a little baggy. Like, I don't know. Like it didn't look, I didn't go to the show, but I looked at the gowns online. And it's not what I was hoping. Like, I don't want to see a Versace dress in a Bible, fashion
like a
show.
Biblically themed. Like, I know that Gwendolyn Christie at the Emmys got a lot of talk for her dress having sort of a biblical theme to it. It was like a white, very like loose fitting white dress with sort of some red detailing that sort of called to mind the popular depiction of Jesus. He always has like a red towel around him in the Bible or whatever.
Yeah.
It was clearly inspired by that. Is that what we're talking about? That sort of stuff?
This is more like, this is like evening wear from the pictures I saw that you wouldn't really know Like, I mean, I guess it's inspired. I don't know.
If I
know.
didn't know it was inspired by the Bible, I would never guess it just by looking at the
You would not.
pictures.
You would not presume that this is part of a biblical fashion. The other thing too is like, I want to be the designer. Like I'm the designer at Gaucher and Debate. It's like, oh, look at this, man, a Bible fashion show. All right, let's get to work and do some little out of the box here. And you show up to the event and your model, you're backstage, and it's just like the loincloth we've all seen, where it's basically like sort of like this big diaper. And you're like, all right, I'm going to go for this minimalist beachwear thing, but it looks like a large diaper, right? And the model gets there and everyone else is like an evening gear wear. And you're like, I grossly misinterpreted
the one guy who didn't get the message.
I did not understand what you meant by biblically interpreted fashion. So I don't know what to do here, but you're about to walk down that.
It took more of a literal interpretation, as one does with the Bible, than maybe I was supposed to.
Yeah, I took this one a little too literally. I should have taken like the Rob Bell route here and really,
So just thought, taking a little more figurative approach to my biblical interpretation.
Yeah, they went a little fundamentalist, in interpretation there. Yeah,
I feel like Jesus has a white robe with a little red towel. You often see I feel like David is wearing some purple, like kind of kingly wear. And then Samson, I assume, just was like bare chested the whole time. He had big muscles. He didn't need to hide what the Lord had given him from people. And then Esther, you see a lot. She's got she always looks very like royal. After that, I don't even know where I'd go. Yeah, dragons and stuff from Revelation. There's all sorts of material there.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway,
John the Baptist. That's interesting. I'm sad that we didn't get the invite. Maybe we did. Maybe I missed it in the inbox. It seems like something that we would have gotten one of those PR notices about.
I'll check my spam folder. So anyway, hey, that'll do it for Slices. Next up, Joseph joins us.
Yeah, there's this hole in my soul.
Listening to Oso Oso, the song is Dig. Well, Joseph is an Americana folk band from Portland, Oregon, ironically, who did not plan that.
We should ask them about
They write a lot about truffle foraging. It's comprised of three sisters, actually, a trio. Natalie Klossner Shepman, Allison Klossner, and Megan Klossner. And on their latest album, Good Luck Kid, the band wrestles with ideas like life, love, and purpose. But behind the scenes, the album actually almost never happened. So in the latest issue of Relevant 101, issue number 101, we talked to the band about how the album came together, but also what it's like being in a band with your siblings and how they really had to rally to make this one happen. Tyler, you got to talk to them.
Yeah. This was a really interesting conversation. I appreciated their candor with me talking about just the reality. I think anytime you see a band of siblings, there's kind of that thought like, I wonder how I would do with my siblings in a band. Like I get along with my siblings, but you're also like, you're not afraid to fight with your siblings. You're not afraid. You don't feel like you have to be quite as diplomatic. So they were very open about some of the struggles they've had as a family. And here's the story they told. I'm curious about this album because I sounds like, and this is I don't think it's too much of a jump reading between some of the lines of some of the other interviews you've given and some of the statements you've put out on social. It sounds like the last couple of years have had some ups and downs.
Certainly. That is absolutely true.
Was there a time when you were thinking like maybe we've come to the end of the road as Joseph?
Yeah, absolutely there was. We talked a little bit about it in some of our Instagram posts, but basically we we just got really tired. And after our last record cycle and relationally, we just weren't doing so hot. There was a lot of personal stuff happening that was kind of getting in the way of us being able to really be relationally very successful with each other, to put it kindly. And when we were touring as a trio this year, we almost called it quits, because we just were like, if it's going to be like this, we just can't do it. It's not worth it for anybody.
Is that kind of tough? Because I can see you being like, on the one hand, we're doing really well. The album's doing well. We're playing shows. We've kind of, in a lot of ways, achieved the dream, or this thing has gone a lot further than we thought it would. And then it ends up being a lot more difficult in ways than you thought it was. Did you try to just like power through and be like, try to ignore the problems for a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think this happens in any endeavor that people do together as a team. It's like you want the end goal. You all want the end goal, but the way that you want to have the end goal might differ. And so it's always such a coordination to be on the same page about how you get to where you're going. It's never binary, it's like you're feeling a million things all at once. It's such a gift to get to be doing what we're doing and to have gotten as far as we have. And you're also in every moment, minute by minute, trying to figure out how to get to the next one. So it's all of it at the same time.
I forgave you for your mistakes. Someone who pays. Don't you know it's such a letdown? I laid it easy for you. She kept coming around in a revolving door. Someone let me out.
What? So when you go back, then you decide to double down and go. You head back to the studio or start writing again. Are things a little different this time, based on not just the general experience of working through some conflict, but also just being a little more experienced in general? Do you feel like you're doing this in a different way or a better way now than you were last time?
Absolutely. It feels like so exciting to get another chance at this, because having been through a full record cycle start to finish, really, it's like anything. You just learn. You learn so much, and it was such a learning curve at first. And we wrote these songs with big crowds in mind and the way that it feels to play with a band. Prior to the release of I'm Alone, No You're Not, which is our last LP, we had only played just trio. And so we wrote those songs on just guitars and voices, and then with the production, after working with Mike Mogus, it became what it was, and then we started playing with a band. And I think after having felt that electric feeling of playing with a band, we wrote songs that were more suited to playing with a band for this next album.
Feel like with this new album with Good Luck Kid, is there do you feel like there's and I know it's not a concept album or anything, but is there sort of a theme to the album or a general vibe that's over the entire thing that's unique to it?
Yeah, so you're going to see a lot of car imagery as the more visuals are rolled out.
I have noticed that.
You have, yeah, cool. So that was actually the work of digging in. We worked with a creative director. Her name is Patrice Leiter. And it was we'd never done that before. And it was really incredible, because I think when you're making something, you get too close to it. And having this outside person come in and really internalize everything, she pointed out that we have 6 references to driving across the album.
And you weren't even aware of that?
No, we didn't. Maybe if I'd known, I would have thought we should have fewer, So yeah, we were just, I think, so inside of the songs that we didn't notice, because each one felt so separate.
Sure.
Yeah, and she was like, it's so interesting, because every single song is about, you're either in the passenger seat or you're in the back seat, or you don't know who's driving, and there's all of these songs of this kind of metaphorical backseatness in your life. And then in the title track, Good Luck Kid, says they handed you the keys, you're in the driver's seat now. And that was really telling when she pointed that out, that this body of work really is about, and in each of our lives, it's stories of how we got in the driver's seat of our own life.
I handed you the keys, the driver's seat is yours now. There's nothing left to lean on, you're the queen from here on out. No time for doubt. Good luck, kid.
That was Joseph. The record is Good Luck Kid. Remember, you can see our full interview and a feature on the band in issue 101 of Relevant, which is out now. Coming up next, feedback.
One of us still remembers. We're lucky to have what we've got. We're taking room for breathing.
Is there something that interferes with your happiness or is preventing you from achieving your goals? BetterHelp Online Counseling is there for you. Connect with your professional counselor in a safe and private online environment and get help on your own time and at your own pace. You can schedule secure video or phone sessions, plus chat and text with your therapist. BetterHelp has licensed professional counselors who are specialized in depression, anger, stress, anxiety, and more. Best of all, it's a truly affordable option. Relevant podcast listeners get 10% off your first month with the discount code RELEVANT. So why not get started today? Go to betterhelp.com/relevant. Simply fill out a questionnaire to help them assess your needs and get matched with a counselor you'll love. That's betterhelp.com/relevant.
Thought I could read you, but I lost my place. Now we're on different pages. I need you. Thought I could read you, but I lost my place. Now we're on different pages. I need you.
You're listening to Joseph. The song is Green Eyes. Well, hey, listen, we're going to keep feedback a little bit short because last time we all met, we discussed ghosts in the Bible. Another theme, fashion. No one talks about that. I'm glad at least Museum of the Bible opened up the conversation. But also, we wanted to hear your thoughts on ghosts in the Bible and ghost stories. But I want to save those actually for the Halloween episode, the Spooktacular that is weeks away. So we're gonna keep this one relatively short. But I do want to say, can I read just one that really? This one took a hard turn. Okay. So we're asking about ghosts, the Bible, and all that jazz. And Josh sent us something. And like I said, this was it was in a thread of 2 tweets, right? And so it starts off because we were like, hey, how come pastors never talk about ghosts or aliens from the pulpit? We feel like a lot of people are interested in this. We just had this whole Area 51 hoopla. You know, people want to talk about this. Why not get a Christian perspective on it? You know, and I still want to see my aliens ghost sermon. So here's what Josh said, and I'm going to read the first part. And you're like, oh, okay, that's cool. My youth pastor did in fact do a series on aliens and ghosts and how in the sermon aliens were demons. And Josh says it was terrifying. It was a stormy night, and during it, we all heard a scream from the parking lot. We were 12. Okay, so I'm like, oh, that's pretty interesting. Like
so far, so far pretty spooky, but
yeah, and like I've heard that take before that aliens are like some sort of supernatural being, and like the dark side or something disguising them. So I've heard that. I don't. I'm not going to make commentary on it. I'm not an expert in any of this stuff, but I've heard that. Then I read the second part of his tweets, which I was like, okay, this is the hardest turn this story in this sermon could possibly take. Okay. So I'm like, all right, interesting. Glad you sent it to us. But here's part 2. Let me clarify. He believed aliens were demons because his 6-year-old, quote, saw one and drew it, and it looked like an alien. Okay.
What? So he's preaching not a theory, but he's preaching this is his observed reality. His child sees aliens or saw something and drew a picture of it, and it looked something that he saw was like an alien. This is like a signs situation.
Okay, his 6-year. Imagine this: you're Joe Jane youth pastor, right? You're hanging out. We have pretty conventional theology. You believe in angels, you believe in demons, but that's where it stops. Okay. Maybe because no pastor does sermons on aliens and demons. So anyway, he's prepping his next sermon, and his 6-year-old comes up to him and goes, "I saw this," and hands you a picture of a really creepy looking alien.
It's like some Stephen King stuff. Yeah.
You're like, okay, well, they're real and they're demons. Time to gather up the youth group. Time to have the sermon. The I Kiss Dating Goodbye series is going to have to wait. We're talking about this drawing. You tell me, congregations. You tell me, crowd of 12-year-olds that, we just did a sermon series about David and Goliath and bullying. And now we're talking about a picture that my 6-year-old drew that we're only assuming is a visitation by a demonic entity disguised by an alien. That's the sermon. So
I need to know. We need to know more. But he clearly, it sounds to me like he called all the parents and he said, "Send your kids to church right now. It's storming out. I don't care.
Yeah.
This can't wait.
Get them in.
I've had a revelation about the reality of the world, and the kids got to know what kind of world they're getting themselves into. We've been focusing on the wrong thing. They're wondering about whether or not they can kiss before they're married. We have to tell them that there are forces out there seeking the demise of the planet Earth. They're demons masquerading as aliens."
Hold on, children, I have a very special sermon. The sermon tonight is titled, "Turn Away the Bad Thing."
I'd be interested in Josh. If Josh wants to share a little more about what the 6-year-old saw and drew, I'd be interested in hearing some follow-up conversation.
Yeah. So let us know, Josh, because we are all equally as disturbed as you were, and we're adults and you were a 12-year-old child at the time.
And we believe this child unreservedly, for what it's worth.
Yeah. Okay, so that'll do it for this week's feedback. Here's this week's
editorial question of the week.
Okay, this week we talked about a biblical fashion show and how I was kind of disappointed when I saw the actual items in it. Again, no shade to the Museum of the Bible or the talented designers that did that collection. I misinterpreted what the intent of this thing was. So we want to ask you, what would you include in a biblical fashion show? Get creative here, because I already told you some of my ideas, especially when it gets into Revelation and the outfits get pretty wild. They're like the Met Gala balls, where they're basically giant Halloween costumes. So send us your feedback at Relevant Podcast. I want to thank Joseph for joining us. You can get their new album, Good Luck Kid. It's out now. You can also check them out in issue 101 of Relevant. And if you subscribe, you'll get that now. Also, I want to thank BetterHelp. Remember, you can go to betterhelp.com/relevant. Simply fill out a questionnaire to help them assess your needs and get matched for a counselor you'll love. That's betterhelp.com/relevant. All right, so that will do it for today's show. And once again, keep us in your prayers, keep Cameron in your prayers, and keep all of our friends and colleagues and, the different people who have kind of, raised some concerns, and keep everyone in your prayers. We want to do the right thing, and we want to be teachable. We want to be humble. We want to, ultimately have this story hopefully be a redemptive one. And we appreciate everyone for listening. That'll do it for this week. We'll be back on Friday. I'm Jesse Carey.
I'm Tyler Huckabee.
I'm Chandler String.
We'll see you guys on Friday.
Thank you for listening to the Relevant Podcast. If you like what you heard, be sure to leave us a review on iTunes. Check out other shows from the Relevant Podcast Network in the podcast section at relevantmagazine.com. And while you're there, browse exclusive podcast merchandise at our online store. Make sure to subscribe to Relevant Magazine. Info is available at relevantmagazine.com/subscribe.
I did not understand what you meant by biblically interpreted fashion.
Relevant Podcast Network.